Take a moment and imagine this. You're standing in a place you've never been before. The journey has taken days, maybe even weeks. You're tired but hopeful, and suddenly everything changes. The world around you becomes smaller, faster, connected. Now ask yourself this. What if a single day in history could hold moments like that? Moments of progress, tragedy, survival, and transformation? On this day, April 15, history didn't just happen. It moved people, shaped nations, and changed lives in ways most of us never stop to think about. And as you listened, keep this question in your mind. Which of these moments would have changed your life the most? Let's go back to the year 1870. For the first time ever, passengers completed a journey across the United States entirely by rail, marking the first transcontinental railroad passenger journey. Now, think about what travel looked like before this. Crossing the country wasn't just difficult, it was dangerous. People faced unpredictable weather, rough terrain, disease, and exhaustion. A journey that could take months with no guarantee you'd even make it. Every mile carried risk. Every step forward required courage. But then everything changed. Railroads brought speed. They brought structure. They brought connection. What once felt like a vast, divided land suddenly became something else entirely. Connected. Families could move across states with less fear. Businesses could expand beyond their local reach. Opportunities that once felt impossible suddenly became real. And imagine being one of those first passengers, sitting inside a moving train, watching landscapes change outside your window, realizing that you were part of something new, something bigger than yourself. It wasn't just a train ride. It was the beginning of a more connected world. But not every moment on this day brought progress. Some moments brought heartbreak. April 15th, 1989. Thousands of football fans gathered at Hillsborough Stadium in Sheffield. The energy was high. The atmosphere was electric. People came to enjoy the game, to cheer, to celebrate. But within moments, everything changed. The Hillsborough disaster became one of the darkest tragedies in sports history. Crowds were directed into already packed areas. Space became tighter. Breathing became harder. Panic began to spread. Now imagine being there.
You can't move forward. You can't move back. The pressure around you keeps building. Voices turn into screams. Excitement turns into fear. And in a matter of minutes, 97 lives were lost. But the tragedy didn't end there. For years, the truth was hidden. Blame was misplaced. Families were left searching for answers. Now ask yourself this. What would you do if the truth about your loved ones was denied? Would you stay silent? Or would you fight? Because they fought relentlessly. For justice. For recognition. For the truth. And after decades, the truth finally came out. This story isn't just about loss. It's about resilience. It's about standing up, even when the world refuses to listen. And while some moments in history are loud, emotional, unforgettable, others work quietly in the background, shaping everyday life in ways we barely notice. Every year, April 15th is known as Tax Day in the United States. It may not sound dramatic. No explosions. No crowds.
No headlines that shock the world. But think deeper. This date traces back to the 16th Amendment ratification, which made income tax legal. And over time, April 15th became the official deadline. Now here's the part most people overlook. This single system funds roads you drive on, schools people learn in, hospitals that save lives. It supports governments. It shapes economies. It influences the direction of entire nations. And yet, most people only think about it once a year. Stressed, rushed, trying to meet a deadline. But behind that deadline is a system that quietly keeps the world running. It's proof that not all powerful moments in history are dramatic. Some are silent, but just as important. Now, let's talk about a moment that changed the world forever. April 15th, 1955. A breakthrough was announced, one that would go on to save millions of lives. The polio vaccine announcement. At the time, polio was one of the most feared diseases on Earth. Children were the most vulnerable. Some lost the ability to walk. Others were left permanently disabled. Hospitals were filled with fear and uncertainty. Parents lived with constant anxiety. Would their child be next? And then came hope. The vaccine, developed by Jonas Salk, was declared safe and effective. Now imagine the relief. After years of fear, after countless lives affected, there was finally a solution. But what happened next made this story even more powerful. When asked who owned the vaccine, Salk gave a response that stunned the world. Could you patent the sun? Think about that. He chose not to profit from it. He chose humanity over wealth. And because of that decision, millions of lives were saved. This wasn't just a scientific breakthrough. It was a moment that showed what true impact looks like. And finally, on the same day, something much simpler began. But its impact would spread across the entire world. In 1955, McDonald's was founded by Ray Kroc. At first, it was just a small restaurant. Nothing extraordinary. But behind it was an idea. Food that was fast. Food that was consistent. Food that anyone could afford. Now imagine the world before this. Restaurants took time. Service varied. Consistency wasn't guaranteed. But this system changed everything. Efficiency became the focus. Processes were perfected. And a small idea began to scale. City by city, country by country, until it became a global empire. Today, millions of people eat there every single day. And it all started on a single day. Now, take a step back and look at April 15th as a whole. A day where a nation became more connected. A day where lives were lost, but truth was eventually found. A day where quiet systems shaped everyday life. A day where a breakthrough saved millions. And a day where a simple idea became a global force. So what does this tell us? That history isn't just about the past. It's about moments. Moments of courage. Moments of failure. Moments of decision. And most importantly, moments that shape the future. Now let me ask you one final question. If you were placed in any of these moments, which one would define you? Because every single day has a story. And every story has the power to change the world. If you want to know what happened every single day in history, subscribe.